Hey everyone, welcome to week 7. I hope that you are all persevering as you're working through this quarter, and we are getting ready for summer soon. This week, we focus more on the notion of thriving. So we talked about thriving some last week, but we're going to attack it with more vigor this week. One of our authors, Pam King, Dr. Pam King, frames this topic well by suggesting that as Christians, we often think about and talk about what Jesus saves us from, but we rarely face the question and think about the question, what does Jesus save us for? And this is where thriving comes in. What would it look like if we leaned into that second question a bit more? That is, we are divinely designed in the image of God, and we know that we are approaching this image of God, this likeness of Christ over time as works in progress. So then this begs the question, what leads to our optimal self as we move towards our calling as the Imago Dei? How do relationships mediate this? How do they cultivate this optimal thriving, or how do they impede it? So these are some of the questions that we're gonna get to be thinking about this week. And what gets in the way of our optimal development or moving towards the likeness of Christ? That, in a sense, then our faith development becomes more than survival, but how do we become the best versions of us? How do I become the best Amy that I can be? Just a few quotations on thriving. Early church father Irenaeus says that the glory of God is the human being fully alive. Love that. The glory of God is the human being fully alive and thriving, that God delights in this. Barrett and King describe human thriving by saying that human thriving is becoming what God created us to become, to live into our purpose. God has created us as Imago Dei, as bearers of God's image. And so the more closely we image God, the more we thrive. As we more closely image God, the more that we thrive. So you can see and hear that thriving has a lot of implications for this integration of psychology and theology. So again, in our videos this week, you'll hear from Dr. Pam King, professor at Fuller and one of the foremost scholars in thriving on the subject. She will talk about relational developmental theory, bridging the gap between nature and niche. There's an interview with Dr. Justin Barrett and Dr. Cutter Calloway to help continue to flesh out these notions of thriving and aspects of the book, as well as we will be finishing the second half of the book, Stone Age Minds, Thriving with Stone Age Minds, this week. You also have 2 chapters. One is on abundance and flourishing as it pertains to pastoral care, and another addresses gratitude. So this segues well into our practice for this week. Gratitude may actually be familiar to many of you as a Christian practice that perhaps you've done in small groups or in churches, but you might be interested to read about the psychological research behind this practice. There are so many benefits of living in gratitude, mentally, physically, emotionally, and as we know, spiritually. So Dr. Robert Emmons does a lot of research in this area. So you'll find him as a foremost scholar, and he's a Christian. If you want to know more about gratitude, and I'm going to post this, I'm going to do another summary video of week 6 and 7. So look for that at the end of the week. But so I'll post it in that lecture. But if you want to learn more about it, the science-based resources on gratitude, the Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley is a great resource for you to be able and find all sorts of podcasts and lectures and pieces about gratitude. So again, you can just Google Greater Good Science Center at UC Berkeley and gratitude, and you'll find it. Last pieces for this week. You guys have done a great job. Remember to continue to comment in your journals on both the practice and content from the week. Remember that you have formation groups this week, so your formation leader has likely already reached out to you. So make sure that you attend those. I did send final paper instructions to you all, so make sure you look through that video, and there's a sample paper that I gave you to look at as well. And if you have any questions on any of this, feel free to contact me. I can talk through some of your ideas or the ways that you're thinking of formulating the paper. I would be happy to do that. And I also have the group sign up sheet. If you'd like to meet with me and some other folks, I will make sure to put that in our email as well for you to sign up. I think that's it. So I hope you guys have a great week. Enjoy the content this week, and we'll see you soon.